Hello SuperCoaches, the teams are in for round 11 plus bye planning is in full swing as well. We've got a huge panel today. First up, Brandon Savage from the SuperCoach Experience. How's your team travelling so far?
Yeah, not too bad. Made a couple of jumps over the last couple of weeks, but no Pappy on the weekend really sent me back to reality. So got to reassess this week, but it's going all right. I'm pretty happy.
Wilson Smith, how are you travelling?
Team's going okay. I'm slowly moving up like 1,000 ranks a week, but I'm still only at 29,000, so still got a long way to go.
And Jett, how are you going after your massive round coming 18th
Good,
last
mate.
week?
I didn't quite go that high this week, but I nearly cracked 1,600, just 2 points short. So I'm in the top 10,000 now. So we're travelling pretty good.
Yep, 1650 odd for me on the weekend, so that's the first time I bragged about my score this year, so I thought I'd get that out of the way. Team takeaways, what's your number one thing to come out of these teams?
Leo Thompson out for the Knights. I really like Jacob Safidi as a purchase, 370k. The last 2 weeks he's played pretty good minutes, -4 break even, so I think he's a sneaky purchase at the front row this week.
And definitely if you own him in draft, that's huge. Wilso, what's your big one?
Top pickup takeaway for me is liking King Tagia at the Dragons, named again to start at halfback, so you can pretty much lock in that dual position for next week.
Yeah, for me, it's Fletcher Hunt being named on the wing for the Knights. I'll talk about him when we get to the Knights because I have a massive opinion of him. But I think he's going to be a player that SuperCoaches talk about a lot in the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, Jett's been pulling up the stats on him all afternoon, so you'll get a full lowdown of what's going on with Fletcher Hunt later on. For me, I've got Zac Hosking named to start in the back row. Matty Nicholson out for 3 months, which makes Hosking a huge buy. Everyone knows it though, he's the second most purchased player. I think that makes sense though. Also, we'll get through Greg Marzhew out for at least 4 weeks, plus Corey Horsburgh, what to do with him. He's been named to return from concussion, but is really in origin contention as well. We've just added a segment at the last minute here, whether to hold or sell Nathan Cleary. Obviously he's on the bye this week, then has Origin, then he has to back up from Origin after that, 4 days after Origin. So it's a rough 3 weeks. He may not play NRL for 3 weeks, and he can go him to Nicho Hynes, which a lot of people are doing. I own Nicho Hynes, so I don't see any point in selling Cleary at all. But what are you thinking?
I own Nicho as well, but Cleary is out with the bye this week, has Origin next week, and then backs up 4 days later after Origin, and then he plays the Dogs in the 1 week where he does play, so the best defensive team in the competition, then misses for Origin, and then when he backs up after that, he's playing in New Zealand, which I doubt he backs up, so best case scenario, he misses, he plays 4 out of the next 10.
Yeah, I mean, he's out for a while, but I'm just going to hold. I've got Nicho as well, so the only way I get rid of Cleary is if I downgrade to liking King Tagia, which I'm not super into because the Dragons don't play next week either.
Yeah, Hynes covers Cleary pretty well over Origin, so if you've got the both of them, you can hold Cleary. What are you thinking?
I hate it, to be honest. It just means you're going to have to waste 2 trades. You're going to have to waste one to get him out, and then you're going to want him to get back into your side. So I hate it. I'd save your trades, and if you got Nicho there, you don't have to worry about it at all.
SuperCoach Plus, $29.95 for the year. Get all your stats, everything in there as well. Plus, you could get a code subscription for $59 for the year. Basically $1 a week. You get all the articles, videos, podcasts, plus the stats, projections, etc. It's a bargain. Let's get into this week's teams. The Knights, I'll go to you first here, Jett, because you've been doing lots of study. Fletcher Hunt in for Greg Marzhew this week. Marzhew's out for at least 4 weeks, so he is a sell, and you reckon Fletcher Hunt straight in?
Yeah, well, I think he's straight in. He's someone that we're going to hear a lot about in the week up to his debut. He's a big country boy. He's from Warren. He's got a big mullet. He's actually a fullback, so he started the year at Cup at fullback. He played Jersey Flegg last year, which is where I watched all his highlights. He's big ball runner, got a silky passing game, scores tries, scored 5 tries in his last 5 games, New South Wales Cup, on the wing, which is where he played. I think he's a massive chance to play fullback next week with Kalen Ponga on State of Origin duties. I think they'll keep Fletcher sharp at 5'8", where he's been killing it. And then Ponga has a pretty quick turnaround after Origin, I'm pretty sure. So there's a good chance he plays there for the next couple of weeks and we get a nice price rise out of him before Greg Marzhew comes back. And we saw last year with Fletcher Sharp how good he was just in the side. They wanted just to keep him there, so they put him on the wing. there's every chance that Fletcher Hunt could be the same, and we're talking about him as a season keeper. So I love him. I think he's going to be a future star, and might trade him in this week.
Look, I'd say it's probably 2 weeks too early, but it's very on brand for you, and you've got a couple of these right, including Like and King Togia so far. So I'll be waiting, but obviously a guy you got to look at.
Yeah, I've got a few moves that I want to make that work a lot better if I bring in a cheapy centre wing this week. So I might take a look at it for sure.
Any love?
I want to have a look at him first. I'll buy him next week if I like the look of him, but I think you get a free look this week, and then if he looks any good, I think there's no harm in going early next week.
Yep. Marzhew out for 4 weeks, as I said. Dylan Lucas and Fletcher Sharp are extremely popular. I own both. I ended up backflipping on getting my man Kyle Iro last week and went with Sharp, so I've got 4 backline guys from the Knights. Pretty happy with it given their bye schedule. Fletcher Sharp or Dylan Lucas. Can you split those two?
For me, it's Dylan Lucas just because of how safe he is and the duel. The duel's worth anything, so it gives you so much flexibility over this origin period to make other trades.
Onto the Eels. Lomax is back for them, so it looks he's going for that origin spot. And Riley Smith and Isaiah Iongi, both very solid holds for round 12 as well, without being sensational buys. Onto the Doggies. So Jamin Salmon's out for 10 weeks after absolutely owning Ricky Stewart over the weekends. That means that Hayes starts in the back row, which, while not being big for Classic, is huge for a lot of draft teams. Karaz, is he still a buy, Savs?
Yeah, he's a season keeper, so I think he's still a buy.
I'm worried about round 13. That's the only issue. He's got that buy in 13. I don't think he plays Origin, so he should be sweet. But 13 is tough if you own someone like Farnworth and Karaz. They're both going to miss that week. Plus, Nico's going to miss that week. It's a sneaky tough round.
Yeah, I think this is the week that I bring either Kiraz or Herbie into my team. Yeah. I've been talking about them all year, but just haven't done it. But I think this is the week.
You can't own both. I think that's
yeah.
I could this week. I definitely could.
Yeah.
I think you got to have Kiraz in. I think he's the best at the position. We saw last week when he scored that try, he busted 5 tackles on the way to that try and then got the line break. So he got that many SuperCoach points just there. Got 152 the week before. I think if you don't get on him, he's going to get left behind. So I think he's a must-have.
At the Roosters, so they got Lindsay Collin back. He's going to have a crack at getting into that Origin squad for Queensland. SuperCoach-wise, though, Sandon Smith is back into the team, which is good news for them. Then you've got guys like Toya, Smith, Nafahu White, Hugo Savala, etc., who will all be really important for round 13. In terms of Sandon Smith, did you sell? Have you sold already? And what are you thinking would be future plans with him?
No, I haven't sold. I think he's going to be an awkward one because after the 100 drops out of his average next week, there'll be a 0 lying in there. So he's going to have a very high break even next week. So I'll have to reassess next week and see the break even, see what he scores this week.
Yeah,
I think I'm just going to hold through the bye period. I think the Roosters are really important.
Not an issue for me. I sold him way too early, so I don't have to worry about that.
Sold him about round 3 or something, way too early. On to the Finns v the Warriors. So at the Finns, no changes. Herbie Farnworth is the 5th most popular buy. We've been talking him up for ages. I don't think anyone has had the guts to actually get on yet. I don't think you can go wrong with Herbs. You've done
sorry.
So time for you to gloat then.
Yeah, 5 weeks ago I got him when he was playing Melbourne.
Yeah.
I think it was Anzac or Easter round.
Yeah.
Scored 98 that week, and he scored a try every game since. So that is me gloating. I still don't own Pappy though. So
would you be getting on this week though for Farnworth, given that he's got that buy in 13, which, as I mentioned, is pretty tough?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a season keeper. I think he's gone to an elite level this year, and I think he's going to be someone you want in your side now or later.
And obviously no Origin for him as well. On to the Warriors. So James Fisher-Harris is back in the engine room. They've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck looking to return again. He's been named on the extended bench. Aaron Clark is the guy who's kind of popping out. 7th most popular buy this week. What do you reckon, Wilso?
I started the year with him and then sold him after about 5 weeks. So I'm spewing that he is now just killing it. He made me some decent cash at the time, but in hindsight, I wish I'd just kept him.
Yeah, he's been smashing it up the last few weeks. I thought he might get suspended, but that hasn't happened. He's there this week. What do you reckon?
I just hate bringing someone in at a huge price when you could have got him way cheaper. So that's why I always go against those type of blokes. But geez, he looked good on the weekend. He just bases so much and he just busts tackles as well. So he's a gun. I just couldn't get him at the price.
Yeah, he's definitely gone to another level this season. On to the Cowboys v the Sea Eagles. The big news here, Jackson Purdue into the halves. How does that affect his Supercoach? I know he's basically peaked anyway. I sold him last week, but are you liking him in the halves or not liking him in the halves?
I kind of like him outside Tom Dearden in the centres, just a bit more room to move. I think he's kind of adapted to that position. I think it will take him a while to adapt to the halves, but he has played there coming through the grade, so I think long term it'll be good, but short term not good.
Yeah, I sold him last week. I completely agree. It might be good, it might be bad. It's just I think the problem at the moment is that it's a bit uncertain. So I think it'll take me a few weeks to sort of get used to it.
Yeah. If he stays on the left, I don't think it worries at all. But if he's on the right, I think it's a massive negative.
Yeah, and they're on to their third halfback of the year there at the Cowboys, so they're really trying to cycle through them and work out what's best for them. I would much prefer him as a running centre than as a ball-playing half. So I'm happy that I sold last week. Plus, he's got the bye coming in round 12 too. So I think he is more of a sell now than he was before. I actually haven't looked at their team, but did Robert Darby?
Yeah, he's
retained even after 5 errors on the weekend. So that's good news for Supercoaches. And then Drinkwater, you tipped us into him a long time ago. 3 tons in a row.
Oh, it's you couldn't ask for anything more, could you? After bringing him in and then a bloke, scored 137 last week and then 117 this week. He's just killing it. Kicks goals this year too, which is so great. And apart from the bye next week, they got a great draw. So he's still got a pretty low break even. So I think you ought to get him in if you don't have him.
Next up, so Sea Eagles. They got Gerbo back at lock. I'm seeing Gerbo in a lot of Origin teams. I was talking to someone the other day who said, if you want him in the Origin team, pick him in jersey 23 or as an assistant coach. Just make sure he doesn't take the field.
Yeah, I'm getting vibes that Laurie might pick him though. So I think he does play Origin, unfortunately. But it's good for New South Wales. Apparently, he's really good around the group. I think that could be at the expense of Terrell May, who for us Supercoaches, it could be a good thing.
Yeah, it could be good news for us.
If it means Terrell May is free to play, I'm all for it. But I had a good look at Origin, my Origin team today, and I think there's a really good chance. Not just Jake, but Tom doesn't get picked either.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll get picked.
Yeah, a lot of Supercoaches are hanging on those two things because it has a lot of impact. On to Sharkies v the Storm. At your Sharkies, they should have Talakai and potentially Wilton back into the team. Nicho Hynes, 5th most popular buy this week. I own him already. I'm pretty happy. He's really come to life in the last couple of weeks. He was a bit flat there for a while, but he's looking good recently. Kicking goals, won't play Origin. I think he is a good buy this week.
The highlight with him on Sunday was how much he took the line on. Yep. Even when he was running I think Sunday was the most time he's ran the ball all season, and when he wasn't running, he was getting really deep into the line. So I think he's just so back. He looks so good on the weekend, and the Sharks have great buy coverage. He's not going to play Origin, so if you don't have him, it's get him in.
The Sharks have found a good balance with it now. Trindle is the guy that kicks the ball, kind of manages in their own 50, but Nicho Hynes really takes the good ball, which is what we wanted, and he's back. I've got him. He's playing Melbourne this week though, so it's a bit of an awkward matchup, but I think he can still do well.
On to the Storm. They do have Harry Grant back, kind of. He's been named in the reserves, so he'll be pushing for an Origin spot there at Queensland. I guess the big news is that Will Warbrick is still not training due to that concussion. So that's good news for a guy like Su'a-Fa'alongo, who stays in the team. Obviously, you don't want to talk about Pappenhausen, but 182 on the weekend. Is he still a buy, Wilso?
Oh, that's a really tough one. Honestly, I think I would prefer Scott Drinkwater if you bring in a fullback this week. But, he's an absolute gun, and you can't really go wrong with him.
Yeah, I think you're very brave not to have him. I hate to bring it up, so it's a bit like he was 2,000 last week. If he had Pappenhausen and captain him, like you'd be top 1,000. Yeah, instead of 8,000. So I hate to run it in. Like, you're brave not to have him. You know?
I've already dealt with the depths of despair long enough.
He's averaging over 90 for the season. Melbourne are flying. Yeah.
I think for me, he's got the Sharks, who are at home this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
And
the
then
triangle.
a bye next week, so I'm pretty happy just to hold off for now.
Yeah, their buy schedule isn't great, which brings me to Jerome Hughes, 10th most popular buy. He's pretty cheap though, so he's only at 633k, which is very good for him. The buy schedule is not great, as you say. Plus, he got an early shower on the weekend because that shoulder still seems to be worrying him. Thoughts on him? Should he be the 10th most popular purchase this week?
No, I don't think so. I think he's looked injured, so I'm never going to buy a player if they look injured. I think I've got to see signs that they're about to explode, and I'm not seeing that from Jerome Hughes.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing well, but like you said, he's clearly playing injured, and there's every chance in the next few weeks, even if he is playing, that he doesn't end up playing.
Broncos v the Dragons. At the Bronx, they've got Ezra Mam back with Ben Hunt injured. Then on to the Dragons. The word on Toby Couchman is round 14 with that shoulder. So he's a definite sell, which is a shame because he's been a great pod for Classic, plus really popular in draft as well. Liking King Togia. Thoughts on him? I bought him in last week. He's a good cheapie. He's certainly not a must-have cheapie. The 5'8" only positioning is not ideal, but he will earn halfback positioning if he starts at 5'8". If he starts at halfback this week, which is where he's been named. So he just needs to take the field in that position and he will earn dual status. Is he a must for you?
I'm not getting him, even though I think Cleary could be a sell. I'm just holding that trade, and that'd be my only avenue to him.
I do think he's a good cheapie, but I'm just avoiding.
Yeah, I love him, so you don't have to ask me.
I bought him in last week, so I'm hoping he goes well. He was great on debut, back to the pack a little bit in his second game, as you'd expect, but still looks pretty likely there for the Dragons. On to Corey Allen, so really popular this week. He's the 8th most popular player. He probably is the best cheapie at centre wing, but you've got Christian Tuipulotu back in round 13, so he'll only get one price rise, then has the bye. And then that's it. Like he's looking good. I love seeing him back after that ACL injury. I just don't think it's an option for SuperCoach.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
There's just way too many red flags there as well.
Yeah, sucks for Corey because he's playing great, but Tuipulotu's going to be straight back in.
Yep.
Raiders v the Titans. Zac Hosking back is the big news. How big are we on Zac Hosking at 500 odd K, playing on the edge? I can sell Marzhew for Hosking and flip Dylan Lucas down, which I think is a great trade. I'm all over Hosking this week. What are your thoughts?
He's a really good purchase. I like Hosking. He's always been good when he gets a starting role. I think also this benefits Corey Horsburgh because he's eaten into Corey Horsburgh's minutes when he's come off the bench. So I think it's a double whammy for the Canberra Raiders.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like him as a buy. He's someone I'm probably going to end up bringing in this week, and he's got a great matchup against the Titans.
Yeah, you don't have to talk me into Zac Hosking. I love him, and with Matty Nicholson out for a while, he'll be that back row for the Raiders.
So you pick him up at 500 odd K, and you could sell him in and covers that buy, and then you could sell him later on at 650, 700 K down the track.
That right edge this year's been really good. Have you seen Jamal Fogarty's numbers this year?
He's up over
720K.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
People looking to buy him in, bring him in this week too. I can't believe it, but yeah, that's how good he's going.
He's scored no lower than 51. His second lowest score is like 54, and then above 60 every other game.
The new Cleary. You'd think
Manly next year.
You'd think he's playing for a contract or something. Onto the Titans. So, is Des Hasler just being Des Hasler by naming Foran on the bench, or is he serious? It affects a lot of SuperCoach relevant players. You've got Jaden Campbell. Does he stay at halfback? You'd think he probably does. Does Brimson go to fullback? Does Jalen de Groot drop out of that team? What is Des doing here? And unfortunately, knowing Des Hasler, we won't know until 3:05 p.m. on Sunday what the hell is actually going on. I know you've got AJ Brimson, don't you? So what are you thinking?
I think Des is dead serious. Foran talked a lot in the pre-season about how his new role for this season was going to be playing through the middle off the bench in that dummy half role. So I think he's dead serious. That's where Foran's going to play.
Yeah, that's my gut feel too.
Yep.
But
yeah, we did have the mail that he was going to play off the bench in the pre-season, but then he got injured, so it never really eventuated. But I mean, who really knows what's going on at the Titans?
Yeah, they do seem to really like De Groot, who's been... I mean, he has had some flashes of really good form too, but AJ Brimson at fullback would just be incredible.
Yeah, I'd love it, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
Particularly now that he's English now, so he can't play Origin, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I think
Now,
so,
he's
yeah.
technically a
I wasn't worried about Brimson playing Origin anyway, to be honest.
yeah. On to Tigers with the Rabbitohs. So Stafford Toa should be back for the Tigers. The big thing is whether Terrell May plays Origin. I think it hinges almost entirely on Gerbo, as we mentioned before. But it would be huge if he doesn't play. He doesn't cover 12 anyway, does he? But still, it'd be big for the other bye rounds.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think if they're picking on form, he is a shoo-in. But who's to say what Laurie ends up going with?
Yeah.
The thing is, if they want to play him as a starter, he could play 60 minutes and absolutely kill it. Or they could play him as a bench guy for impact, and he could do it like he could play 20 minutes and make a massive impact. He can do both roles.
yeah,
I don't see why you would not pick Terrell May for Origin, but who knows, Laurie Daly.
It can't be an attitude thing either, because he seemed like he's been so good for the Tigers culture this year. So,
What do you reckon?
it's the month of May. So
Yeah. For like the SuperCoach month of May or the New South Wales
it's
Blues?
been the year of May for
Yeah.
Supercoach.
it honestly doesn't matter if he gets picked for Supercoach or not, because everyone's got him. So
Yeah.
but I'd love to see him play Origin, to be honest.
I'd love to see it too. On to the Rabbitohs. So they got Alex Johnson back from that hamstring. Kaloa Matangi playing prop. Do we like that? He looked all right on the weekend.
I love it. 35 points in runs last
Yeah.
week and 36 points in tackles, so 71 in pure base.
He played a bit in the middles last year as well and looked really good. He played his best footy there. So I really, really like it as a purchase. There's a very small chance he's in the Origin frame, but I think probably unlikely.
I love Keon as a round 13 buy. Like when he plays in the middle, he's so busy. He can play big minutes. He's just like Terrell May pretty much. So
Yeah.
I love him, and he's confirmed to get dual status. Is he?
Up in the air. I don't think he has quite enough time.
All right, I wasn't
It's all in
sure.
the
I
story
wasn't sure
from
which
last
one
week,
were the
because he's only
confirmed
started there
ones.
once.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he won't have enough time to get dual this time.
We'll get
Could
it
have
eventually.
it out
Yeah.
for 18
Yeah.
if he stays in that position.
Yeah.
On to Peter Mamouzelos, 6 weeks. So, I mean, we kind of knew that last week, but haven't mentioned that in the podcast since then. And then finally at the Panthers, Nathan Cleary, we've spoken about him. Thomas Jenkins, a lot of people are talking about whether to hold or sell him. What are your thoughts?
I love him. He's going to probably play fullback there next week. The main talking point of the Panthers, I thought we'd talk about, is how good Blaze Talagi looked on the weekend.
Yeah.
He's someone I want to lock in next week.
Yeah, and available at centre wing for
Yeah.
SuperCoach. So
4 try assists or something on the weekend.
Took a while for him to sort of fit into their attack and get going, but now he's absolutely firing. So yeah, I really
Look at
like
his
him as well.
SuperCoach scores too. He hasn't had a bad score this year.
Nothing lower than 60, yeah. I think with Jenkins, it's kind of been perfect for us. He scored that big 100, came off the bench last week, thankfully scored a try.
got a try, yeah.
His break-even's a -2, so we'll play round 12 next week on the wing. Will Dane Murray play fullback?
Yeah, he could, yeah.
Yeah, well, at least he'll be in the starting
Yeah.
side because Toll will be out as well. So it's going to be a really
Well,
nice timing.
Will To'o be out? That's the other question too.
What?
Because, I've seen a lot of Origin teams with Turbo on the wing instead of To'o. Anyway, those Origin teams coming out on Sunday night, I believe, will have a very clear indication of what's actually going on. So keep an eye on that on Daily Telegraph or Courier Mail or Code websites. Big thanks to our panel today. We'll catch you tomorrow for the preview podcast. See you then.